Hey guys, Kev here, and it's time for a disassembly. So, I didn't want to disassemble this, but I have to because it is starting to walk. So, it actually made it a pretty long time before starting to walk. Now it kind of feels like it's not walking. But you know what? I'm dedicated at this point. No, there's the play. Yeah. So two things happened since the unboxing. Did I even do an unboxing? I can't remember. I broke the clip. So the stock clip is dog poo-poo. And I did get a hold of NC Blade. They are going to see if they can get me a replacement. But what had happened was... and I might need the hardware, so we'll just leave it all out here. Here's the extra collars if you want to do that and match the clip. That's extra. Luckily, it comes with an extra clip. But yeah, so I took the clip off because it was tapping, which this one is not, luckily. And I wanted to adjust it. Now, if you guys have watched the channel, you've probably seen me adjust a ton of clips. I've never had one break. This pin comes out, apparently. I'm having trouble getting it out. But normally I just put a little pressure and I'll start to feel the tension and then I'll bend it just a little bit. And I started doing that and it just went, and you can see I'm doing it right now and it's not snapping. So I think it's called delamination, where it just... delaminated, so to speak, because it's not necessarily snapped. It just has that huge crack in it now. So they're going to see if they can get me a new one, which would be nice because, you know, this is a $700 knife, and I think part of that is the expense of this clip. So I would like to have that in case I ever sell it, or just to put on it. This has grown on me the way it looks, but I also don't understand why they don't have a clip that matches the hardware or the collars. Like, I think they got lazy. They did crystallized tie on the collars, and then they didn't make the clip to match. They just did all Zircuti clips. Kind of weird to me. But it looks like we have, is it 2 sets of bearings? No, just 1 set. But those are, if I remember correctly, the bearings in there are loose. I'm going to try to put skiffs in. Extra washers, all the good stuff. It's interesting these washers have some marks already, almost like they've been used, but extra pivot, which is cool. So let us rip into it. I have my Get Good screwdriver. Pretty sure this whole knife is T8, so I'm going to grab a T8 here. And I believe I just need to take this collar off. Should be pretty straightforward, disassembly-wise. But we shall see. I'm going to take this collar off because I think I need to, but I'm not positive. That's the one with the, got it, pivot screw. Let's see if it was loose. Yep, it was loose. So it was loosening. I could just Loctite it, but I think I'm going to just take it apart, see what's going on here. That's going to be our insert screw here. I shouldn't have to mess with that, but I do want to make sure it's tight. Looks like a T6. Yep, that's nice and tight. Good to go there. I'm going to take the clip off. I'll show you how that works. So you just take this one screw out, and then there's a pin above it. So there's the screw, and then the pin comes out like that. And then I guess we have to take this. Well, I shouldn't have to because I just need to get this side off, right? But I could show you what's under here because I have it coming off already. So that comes off, and then this scale comes off, and there's your frame lock essentially under there. There's some more frame screws, so there's a lot going on here. But I need to come off from this side because of the pivot over there. This carbon fiber, I really like what they did with it. It's definitely unique. That's the one thing I love with CKF. They do such cool, just different stuff. you know? I think it's just a camo carbon or something, but you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the camo carbon that I saw on the Real Steel knife. You know, I wonder if Real Steel is making these, because they have really good quality. That would make a lot of sense. Real Steel has ties with Russian companies, I think, at least Eastern European companies. But so I'm going to go ahead and say I think Real Steel might be the OEM. Whoever, you know, whatever factory they use, because I don't think Real Steel actually has their own factory. Anyway, it does look like I'm going to have to take those screws out on the other side, because this construction is very interesting. So it's not going to just come apart, right? Because we have these screws that go through, and they come from this side. They look to be T6s. Oh, no, T8. Now, these are the ones you want to be careful with when you're taking this apart and tightening it. So there's no backspacer. Let's just see what's going on here. Maybe there's a... Oh, there is a piece there through the middle. Did I not? That one's... Okay. These are all loose. So let me just open it here. So this is where it gets confusing, because those are all the same. All right. I have to get the pins to come apart here. There we go. Wow, this is a wild construction. Okay. All right. It might be worth $700 just because of how wild this is. So they frog lube everything, which is annoying. Yeah, see, it's MRSB, whatever, multi-row bearing system, MRBS. And that usually means these are loose in here. We'll see. I have no idea where the other bearing went. Is it here? Oh, there. So we'll see. We have the washers. I need to flip those over. I got to clean everything. It's covered in this frog lube. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of action once I get this all cleaned up, I bet you. And the action was already really good. So hopefully it only gets better. We have a D shape here. So I just want to be careful with that. Oh, look at this, dude. It's disgusting. And then the inside is going to be caked in something too. So I'm literally just going to spray alcohol in there. I think that's the smart move. And then blow it out. You're gonna see a spray here. Whoops, lost the straw. I think that's my last can of canned air. And then I'll take a driver through it as well. You gotta clean these threads out, guys. It's so important when you're disassembling a knife. If you've ever had a knife that just doesn't want to Loctite right, 90% of the time, it's gonna be because you didn't clean enough inside. Looks like I got some of the microfiber on there. Let's see if I can. Yep, got it. Okay. Clean the pivot screw. Man, that stuff is covered in this frog lube. It's disgusting. I mean, can you see the bearing pockets? See how gross those are? I mean, I kind of get it. I guess they think most people are not going to touch their knife, and they want it to be set up so it'll run for the longest time, but I don't know, man. It's just nasty. Biggest thing I'm worried about is centering, because I've had so many issues with CKF's centering after disassembly, especially Evos. So hopefully this is not a similar scenario. So I'm just cleaning the detent hole out. You can see a lot of that is going to be KPL from me, but definitely some frog lube in there. And then I'll go around the bearing pockets inside the pivot hole like this. And then I'm going to take this washer out too. So, clean all this stuff. And then we want to make sure we clean the lock face so we don't get any stick. Very thin, very skeletonized in terms of the liner here. Wow. Didn't realize how thin that was going to be. Detent has good engagement. Look at that. Look how far that sticks out. That's awesome. Oh, okay, this goes through the scale. Got it. Okay. So, just to be careful, I want to make sure I put this pivot back in. I think it was in this one, right? And it was straight up. I don't know. The D shape is there, so maybe this is the wrong side. Let's see. Did it go through this side? It was on the side where the screw holes sat. So yes, this is the side it was in. And it was sitting up vertical like that, even though it looks like it goes sideways when you actually put it in. It'll go to the side, but I'll mess with that. All right, so we've cleaned everything. Clean the back. Look at the machining, dude. This is absolutely wild. Very, very cool. So the reason why it's all like this is it's skeletonized down as much as it can be so that it's lighter weight, which I really appreciate. You can see the little chamfer for the lock bar so you can get in there. Right here as well. Very, very thin. If you had to adjust your detent, it would be pretty easy on this. I don't need to. Yeah, this is excellent machining. Beautiful design too. So, got to give them props on that. All right. So, just because I will clean these bearings, but I'm going to try Skiffs. And these are probably fine. I have found in the past that their bearings don't move very freely like Skiffs do. So I don't know if they're just tighter in the pockets or what. But here's the washers. Let's clean those. These are important. I do have extra ones, so it might be better to just chuck those in and then have Skiff and regular instead of flipping them. But let's just see what they look like. Yeah, they're just clean on this side. So to me, I'd rather just use that. And I can see what these look like. Oh, did not mean to do that. I don't want to have extra hardware out. So here's what they look like. And again, you see this flat side and then you have this side. So I am going to switch them because it seems like, well, this one looks weird. Seems like they have two sides. See that? And this side, I can't tell what's what on this one. This one's obvious. You can see this sort of matte side and then a shinier side, which would be the side you'd want to put the bearings on. These are both laying flat down. Flip them over, and you get the side that was being cut into. Yeah, there's something up with this washer that's not making me too excited, so I'm going to actually put these back. I'll use the stock ones, and I think I'm going to leave them in the way they were. I don't know why. I just have this gut instinct. That sounded so dumb, but whatever. Skiffs. So what we need is monster skiffs. So we need the big boys. Those are the 16. I need the 18 count. Sure those aren't 18? Those are huge. Nope, those are the 18s. There we go. Yeah. So I can show you in comparison. The stock ones are a little bigger, it looks like. Little bit bigger cage. But I think the balls are basically set up the same way. But see, when I roll these in my finger, I can feel the balls moving around. I can't do that with those. I don't know why. So I'm gonna take a little bit of KPL heavy and put it here and here and here and here, so that those washers stay in. So I'm gonna put them back the way they were, like this. And like this. That way, it's not gonna fall out when I go to put it together. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. So let's get everything together. Put this here. Man, that's such a cool design. Pop that pin in there. Okay. Make sure our blade is definitely clean. Clean the tang. So she said. And look at that. $700 knife. They did knock a burr off. Good for them. Good for them. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of KPL and put it here on the pivot barrel so that we get a little bit of lube right there, which is always good. Now, I do find it interesting that this is a D-shaped pivot, which is not good for action technically. Now, you'll see it a lot. We do it, but yeah, $700 knife might be cool to not have a D-shaped pivot. I don't know. So let's get our bearings together. So I'm going to take some KPL. Actually, I'm looking at that bag right now. See that? I'm going to clean these first. They must have... Sometimes the bronze can like... Just needs a little cleaning. Otherwise, that coloring will come off inside your knife, which is okay. It's not the end of the world, but this is not a kind of knife I want to take apart every couple days, you know? I want to do that. I want to set this and forget this. That's how I'm feeling about this one. Hopefully, we'll be able to pull it off. All right. And I'm just putting a little lube on here. Yeah, those balls are rolling. Oops. There we go. And then I'm going to get our blade. Try not to cut myself too bad. Nope. You know, I'll wipe everything again, but... Oh, you know what else I want to do? Put a little bit of heavy on the detent track. Come on. There we go. I'm not trying to go crazy here. Am I bleeding or like what's going on? Gonna have to spin that pivot, which is gonna be harder afterwards. So let me just see. D shape goes to that side, so just turn it now. There we go. Okay, there we go. They're 6mm 1/16 bearings, just for those of you who want to buy the bearings. These are the ones, multi-row 18 count bearings. All right, now this guy goes on top like so. You need to kick this back spacer back. There we go. Try to line everything up. I think we got it. Like that. And then what I want to do is drop the pivot in just so I can get something tightened down a little bit here. I'm going to shut the blade. Then I'm going to flip it over so I can put these screws in. 1, 2, 3. Grab my driver. These were all T8. Start at the end. I'm not going full tightness here. I'm just getting it set a little bit. Now I'm going to just look. Make sure everything's functioning. Blades over to the side, obviously, but it's okay. Detent. Feels good. So let's tighten this down a little bit. Okay. Pivot is tight. It is, looks dead centered. So let's tighten these. Again, I'm not trying to over tighten these, just, I don't know. I'd be tempted, honestly, to Loctite those, but I really don't feel like doing that. So if I have to do it later, I don't think I have to take the pivot out or anything. So that's fine. If I had to remove the pivot, then I would probably Loctite them. But since I don't have to, it's something I can do later. All right. So, guess I could just test it now, right? The knife is basically assembled functionally. Pops, no play. Oh man, holy shit, this is gonna be good. Okay, somebody told me, I think it was my buddy Brett, he's like, dude, once you take it apart and clean it up, it's fucking amazing. I was like, all right. Because it's amazing now. It gets better? Whoa. Don't know what that was, but okay. Heard a crack. Anybody else hear that? Oh. Everything seems fine. All right, I'll put it together and then I'll do. Well, these I'll put on last. The clip I could probably put on now. Just make sure this is tight. Oh. Okay. That was weird. That must have been the crack sound. So, clip just seats on like that. Or not. Weird. I guess this is what seats the scale. There we go. That's what seats that scale where it goes. So that screw. All right, so hang on a second. Make sure this is tight. I don't know, that was weird, but okay. Okay, all right. So now we can check everything. Ooh, I can flick it, Lefty. Action's really good. Okay, so I need to figure out the pivot. So let's loosen it, remove it, oops, then tighten it again. Tight. So it's fully tightened. Pops, no play, no rock. Blade drops pretty well. So you can back off a little bit like that. then I bet it, yeah. So I'm gonna have to feel this out when I glue it now. So this is where all of you guys can cringe. So let me just clean the pivot one more time. Clean this one more time. So this is a D-shaped pivot, so it shouldn't be any issue with glue, honestly. And I'm just gonna do it, so. Okay. And my ear just started piercing. No play. Smooth action, and the skiffs just got put in there, so they're gonna get smoother. So I'm not gonna mess with it. Action feels great. It's centered, all that shit. So best move with glue, once you get it, leave it. You do not want to fuck with that pivot a lot. And you're not gonna be able to, but. So I'm gonna assemble it and talk for a little bit, and then we'll check it. See how we did, basically. Okay, that's tight. Tight. These were both tight. Tight. Centering. Dead nuts. No lash. I mean, I felt maybe a little bit before, but nothing now. And I think it was more just a good detent, so it, you know. Let's get all the extras cleaned up. Put those in there. In here. And then, of course, I have these collars if I ever want to switch them, which I don't. I think the blue looks sick. That crystallized blue. I really just wish the clip matched. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. Or made the clip black, right? Guess I could have somebody make it black, but it's never going to match perfectly unless they do it at the factory, you know? And then that. Put this away. So that's how you disassemble and reassemble the CKF Davless. I will say, I know some people are going to look at that and say, oh, that's really complicated construction, right? They have all these extra body screws and everything. But the reason they do that is for structural purposes. It really does help having 1, 2, 3, you know, structural screws in there, plus the pivot and a pin here and a pin there. It just, to me, it makes it feel more solid, especially with a skeletonized knife like this. The construction on this really is fantastic. Detent feels just like it did when I unboxed it, which is on the stronger side, which is perfect for me. The action feels good. It's a little tight there, but hopefully, you know, we'll break through that as I carry it. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's a little tight, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Let's see. Yeah, I just can't repeatedly get that lefty for some reason. I'm hoping that breaks in a little bit to where it drops to my nail. It did when I first checked it. There we go. It's better, yeah. It should keep breaking in. I really don't want to have to take it apart, and if anything, it'll just loosen up a little bit and get better. I'm sure it will with flicks. So that's the CKF Davless, and I'm really digging it. Just a really fun knife. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments. You can pick up any of the stuff I used in the video. The skiffs you can get at skiffworkshop.com. You can use my link down below or my code LeftyEDC to get 10% off. The bearings off of the test fit card, the finger bit, the KPL and everything you can get at knifepivotlube.com. You can use my link and my code LeftyTen for 10% off. And I have links to the super glue and the microfiber things, I think. It's all in the description. The Loctite, if you prefer that, I get from Orion Knives, which now ships with the adapter. So, yeah, there you go. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.